Alright, hey guys, it's Desiree. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I appreciate each and every one of you. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to songs that my Wattpad readers said remind them of my book or fit well, like, in correlation to my book, if that makes sense. So, I'm pretty excited about that because, honestly, I think that's super fun and such a fun idea. I actually got the idea because one of my readers commented and informed me that he had made a whole playlist based off of my book. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. What a fun idea. Let me see if anybody else has any song suggestions that like kind of remind them of like the storyline or like my characters. So I asked for my readers to comment that on one of my chapters. Oh, feisty. And they came through, so I made a playlist last night of all the songs they commented, and then I also saved the original playlist that was recommended. The original playlist has a lot of songs on it, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to listen to every song on that playlist, but we will definitely listen to a good amount. My cat is in here and he's got issues. Both the playlists are called Only Sleeping because that is the name of my book. For those of you who have not watched my sharing my book on Wattpad video, I will link it in the iCards. In that video I talk a lot more about just like my experience sharing the book, what my book's about, etc. If you have not watched that, I will give you guys a quick little rundown of what my book is about right now. I'll just read you the description so you can get the legit rundown. Here we go. Absolutely do not do that. Do not. Thank you. Will, the younger brother of infamous party boy Gage Jackson, spent his night desperately trying to tune out the noise of yet another one of his brother's parties. Thankfully, this one ended early at 2 a.m. and he finally found himself falling asleep. That is, until someone came stumbling in his room and fell face first onto his bed, their arm landing across Will, pinning him down. Will was speechless for a moment before squirming around under the heavy arm. Hey, get up. The guy groaned and turned his head, barely opening his eyes. Shut up, Will. Will's eyes widened, his breath freezing in his lungs. It was Mason. Mason, who happened to be Will's brother's best friend, and even worse, the star in all of Will's steamy dreams. And here he was, asleep in Will's bed. Okay, so, first of all, I worked really hard on my description, and now when I read it, I'm just like, oh, chef's kiss, she's beautiful, she's lovely. So that's what my book is about. So we're going to go through, and we're going to see what songs people felt fit my book, and I'm very excited about it. And on it, every single one of these songs, except for I think like 2, I've never heard before, so this is also just going to be exciting for me. The first one is Talk Me Down by Troye Sivan. I've listened to some Troye Sivan songs. I don't think I've heard Talk Me Down.
Wanna sleep next to you, but that's all I wanna do right now.
Okay, so automatically the first 2 lines, I want to sleep next to you, but that's all I want to do right now. Like, if that doesn't describe my book perfectly, stop it. Amazing. My reader's 10 out of 10.
You know that I can't trust myself with 3 a.m. shadow.
So I feel like, because you know that I can't trust myself with my 3 a.m. shadow is interesting because majority of the time when Mason shows up at Will's house and in Will's bed, it's like 3 a.m. or like around that time frame because he does work at the bar, so it is after that. And before Will, Mason was sleeping with a lot of people, so he was never sleeping at home after like going to the bar or working and whatnot. So that line does kind of apply. It was just super interesting.
I wanna do right now and talk me down, wait around. No, I like to draw the line, starts to get real.
Okay, so again, that's super interesting because I know I like to draw that line when it starts to get to real. Applies really well because Mason won't go like past like a certain point with Will because he's like, no, this can't happen with you. So applies. This one's good. This is a good first song. Okay, so I also kind of like that line, like, I'm not the one if we're honest, because like that's how like Mason feels. He feels like he's not the right one for Will. Anyway, okay, next song. This is called Please Don't Say You Love Me by Gabrielle Aplin. Gabrielle Aplin.
Somewhere calm, there used to be an empty space, a photograph without a face. presence and your grace, everything falls into place.
So I feel like this is interesting because a photograph without a face, but with your presence and your grace, everything falls into place. Oh, and there used to be an empty space. I feel like those could all apply if you like changed out like a photograph with an empty face to like an empty space in the bed, like, or like constant like people like without a face, because there is all these people that Mason has like fill this void for him. Even though he's sleeping with them to like get away from things at home, none of them actually like provide him any comfort until Will. So I feel like that could apply.
Just please don't say you love me, 'cause I might not say it back.
I feel like that's a really good line too, because I feel like Mason is like, he really does like Will. He does probably love Will, but he doesn't want to admit to that, and he doesn't think he deserves to have Will's love. So that, like, I feel like that's like a way like he feels is like he doesn't want Will to fall in love with him because he knows that he won't say it back or feels like he can't. Next one is called Swim by Chase Atlantic.
Now, baby. World is on my shoulders, keep your body open. Pop a couple pills in the daytime. Probably should've fucked on the first night. Now I gotta wait for the daylight.
Okay, so I feel like that line right there, the probably should have on the first night, now I gotta wait for the green light, I feel like that applies because like had like Mason and Will like done it the first night when Mason was completely drunk, it would have taken away like literally the whole entire point of the book. But the fact that they haven't is part of like the challenges they have to face throughout the story, because Mason won't do that. Where like if he had originally, they might have moved into being a couple a heck of a lot quicker, because if you ask my readers, it did take a significant amount of time for them to become a couple, so that line does apply.
Luckily, yeah. I like you running from the cops now. It's so hard to ignore you. Keep your body open, swim.
I also feel like that line, like, so hard to ignore you, keep your body open, swim, well, minus the swim part, could apply because I feel like Mason has this like struggle of like it's so hard to ignore Will and like keep saying we're done, but then obviously we're not, and like maybe not like keep like your body open, but keep like your bed open. Like it's really hard for me to ignore you, and I'm going to keep coming back. So yeah, that line does apply as well. That too, I've been drowning for a minute, your body keeps pulling me in. Self-explanatory, like Mason's been having a hard time, Will's like providing that comfort and just keeps bringing him back. Okay, I really like that one. I have actually heard that song before, but I've never like paid attention to the lyrics. Next song is called Gotta Get Up by Callie Uchis. Uchis? I don't know.
In my dreams, the clock is counting down. Alarm says wake up now.
Okay, so like this first couple lyrics, I feel like kind of makes sense as to why they suggested the song, because like I'm getting tired of sleeping in, but you're better in my dreams. Kind of applies in the sense that like Mason, like they spend the nights like sleeping, obviously. Like it's not necessarily in his dreams, but obviously like he has Will at night and he doesn't have him during the day because like he doesn't allow that. So, you know, like I'm getting tired of sleeping, but like I have you only at the night, and then like the clock is counting down, alarm says wake up, but like I want to spend the day in bed. Okay, yeah, I like that. Next song is called I Hate Myself for Loving You. It's by Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
You said you'd meet me, now it's harder to do.
So those first few lyrics, Midnight Getting Uptight, Where Are You? I feel like, so the song's kind of more from like Will's perspective, where like Will waits up like being like, okay, is Mason gonna show up or not? Then by the time it's like after midnight, whatever, you know, he's like, okay, where is he? I know I'm hanging you, but I'm still wanting you. Like really expressive how Will feels, because Will spends a lot of his time waiting around wondering if Mason's going to show up or not, because they're not official, they're not a couple, and Mason doesn't owe him anything. So these lyrics too, I turn my back and you're messing around. Like I said, Mason was a notorious player. So for Will, it's like every time Mason doesn't show up, the likelihood of him getting with someone else is very high. But yeah, I do feel like a lot of those lyrics apply to Will and how Will's feeling, and I do like seeing that in here because all of the other songs seem to apply more to Mason. So I liked having one that kind of like describes how Will feels. The next song is another Troye Sivan song, and it's Would Cry Just Thinking About You.
We wrote a life all by ourselves. one all by myself.
So I feel like we wrote a life all by ourselves. We should put it back on this shelf. But there's a dazzling wave that keeps me at bay with you. I wrote this one all by myself. I feel like that could apply to Mason because he and Will, like, there is clearly this potential for them to be a relationship, and clearly, like, Will is into that and Will is all there for it. And you know, that's kind of like their we wrote a life all by ourselves. Like, clearly between the two of them at night, there's this understanding of that, like, a want for more, and an ability for more, or to have more, but Mason himself chooses to kind of go a different path. So I feel like that is like that wave that keeps him at bay, and he rides that wave himself.
Every guy wants something just like you.
So every guy I want looks something just like you. Mason does mention that in the book about how, like, every guy he's ever gotten with before Will was like a cheap version of Will.
And now we're knee deep in this mess.
So the life's a blackening wave of drifting us further than we are, and now we're knee deep in this mess. I feel like also applies kind of self-explanatory in that one. Like, the whole situation they're in just like keeps like progressively, like, not like getting worse, like nothing really changes within the situation itself, but like the way it makes them feel and the way they feel about each other changes, because the longer they continue to do this, giving themselves to each other but not all of themselves, is going to make their feelings for each other deeper, but at the same time harder to ignore. And now they're like knee deep in this whole messy situation. This next one is Notice Me by Role Model featuring Benny. I feel like I really like the song in general. It is in my playlist, so we'll listen to it and then we can talk about the lyrics.
Talk dirty, you got your hand in my jeans. Keep going until they tell us to leave. Damn, can't believe you noticed me. You noticed me.
So I feel like these first lyrics could kind of go for both Mason or Will, but I feel like they fit Will a little bit more, just because, like, you're perfect in everything between. But like, they can't believe you noticed me, I feel like really like comes from Will, because Will has had a crush on Mason like his entire, I don't know, like for years since he's known Mason, and he never expected anything to come of that. He had just simply accepted the fact that Mason was out of his league, out of his reach, and something he would never have. The let's dance when we're not supposed to be could like be a metaphor for, like, you know, like them like spending the night together like they shouldn't be or they're not supposed to be.
Only thought I'd have you in my dreams.
Only thought I'd have you in my dreams. Again, he has always had a crush on Mason, and like it says in the description, Mason was the star in all his steamy dreams, and he was never expecting anything to come of that. Next song is Heat Waves by Glass Animals. I'm pretty sure I've heard this on TikTok, but I'm not sure.
Sometimes all I think about is you. You just need a better life than this. You need something I can never give.
So sometimes all I think about is you applies to both of them, obviously, but you just need a better life than this. You just need something I can never give. Totally Mason, because like I said, he has this feeling of like he's not good enough for Will, he doesn't deserve Will, and he's bad for Will. He can't give Will what Will deserves. So. This is Affection by Between Friends.
You know the choices you're not giving to me.
So I feel like these first lyrics, like that you're taking what you want right from me, wrapped up in so much life, it's just the way you hold me, you're picking miscellaneously. All of these lines I think apply to like Will. Like Mason kind of like does what he wants, and he makes the choices for Will, which isn't okay, but Will takes what he can get.
We'll keep falling on each other, fill empty spaces.
I like that, and we'll keep falling on each other to fill the empty spaces. I do feel like that also could apply, like, they just keep coming back to, and mostly for Mason, I guess, just keeps coming back to Will to like fill that void that only Will can fill, but he refuses to allow Will to fill permanently.
No filter on your mouth.
You're saying what you want right to me, no filter in your mouth. Again, could be Will. Like, Mason says a lot of like hurtful stuff to Will, and he doesn't really filter what he says. He doesn't really think through what he says either. He says a lot of stuff solely based on emotion, and it's not always nice stuff, and it's not always stuff he means. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Those were all really, really good for the most part, in connection to my book. Like, I felt like a lot of those actually worked really well, describing like how my characters feel and whatnot, so that was really cool to see. and to listen to. This is something I definitely think I'm going to do for each book I publish on Wattpad, because Wattpad is the kind of platform where people can comment directly on my book. If you guys like this video, then you guys do know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below what kind of videos you want to see next. And otherwise, I will see you all next week. Peace out.